Hello there. This is Guess Who, and I don't know who you are, but whoever you are, I have a good guess. The one or two people who are still following this saga through this period, which I think is the period of time normally labeled, not labeled, I guess, but associated with separating elders from non-elders, men from boys, so to speak, or in the female case, something from girls. Either would either be a woman or a lady, I suppose. And that is to do with this ongoing project, which isn't what this series is about, specifically. But the title of this series has to do with being an effective coder or programmer. And an effective programmer is one that actually gets something done. And it's a sad fact of life that it takes a long time to get something done, especially if you want to do it right. There are no quick answers. You just have to plug away and keep working at it until you eventually achieve your goal. And the goal in this case is a fictitious one, even though it's a fictitious goal, it still involves a lot of work. But that work is coming to an end, culminating in a final product. And a lot of it got done last night, much to my amazement, but more to my amusement, especially to do with that little editor. The editor. Well, this is something else. I had to write this quickly. I wanted to prove something to myself. Those little locks that keep appearing everywhere are they're not correct. I probably have lots of little locks in my icons. See all these little locks? Now, well, I'm not exactly sure what the meaning of the lock is, but I assume it means that it's a linked file. Because these are ones that I had linked with something and then deleted the other thing. However, I now have a program that I just made, and those 3 lines you saw. Text icons, and I made a batch file too called count links. Count. They're all ones. So that means I should find something that's got a large size. I wonder why it's. I didn't do a recursive thing. Maybe recursive? I guess I did. Okay. Still all ones. And those ones also have little lock pictures on them. Some of them anyway. Most of them. Because they were linked to here. That's the normal way I move things now. It's much safer. View details. I can link some things to where I want them to go, and then delete the ones locally, wherever they are. And it doesn't cost me any drive space to do that. And I can delete the other ones at my leisure or right away. And there's an extra safety that it won't be any. I'm not using the mouse or this program. Well, I'm partly using this program just to get the initial directory. That's it. The rest is done by my own little thing. So these are all ones. No, this has nothing to do with with the project. But let me just quickly write a batch file to get rid of all those links. Okay, here we are in more icons. And I'm going to write a batch file, and I'm going to call it unlink, if there is such a thing already. No. Okay, now what we want this to do is, as usual, probably on for the first run. We want to walk through all the files, and there may be spaces. I don't think there are spaces. I'm certain there aren't actually, but I might use this for something else. I just want the name. I don't want any directories. Now these are I'll just do star, whatever. Okay. Do. I'm going to do it all in one line? No, probably not. Call do the thing. This is the way I always do it. I should have a template for something for these file walking batch files. Alright, now we got a full pass, quoted, passed in. Quotes don't matter. What I want to do is renaming is no good. I've got to make a new copy, and then I got to delete what I've got. So I got to copy %1 to, let's say, % wiggle, and I could take this, requote them. So now this has the name and the extension. This is the name, so I'm going to change the extension to dot Allen. Good enough. So that would maintain the name, but change the extension to. Oh no. I want the extension to. Can I put this name extension .allen, and I can remove the .allen later. How about this? Echo. Build a batch file along the way. So if I wanted to reverse this, I would just rename that back to this. I could put that into a batch file. Delmy. I'm not very creative with names. Delmy. And then go to end of file. Now how does that look? So first I copy, and now I delete this one. Could have done that in the previous line. But what I don't want to do the renaming right now, because then it's still going through the directory. So I'm just going to postpone. Oh yes, it's still going to the directory, isn't it? And that says start. Better say iCode. No, I don't even need this. Keep it in the same directory. But I don't want to rename it back to its original, definitely, while I'm going through. So I copy it, I change the extension to Allen, drop the extension, keep the name, and then I delete this. Well, this could just be %1, whatever it was, already has quotes. This too. I don't need. But whenever you put a wiggle in, the quotes go away. So if we did need them, we'll need to put them back. Then I delete it, and I save off the instruction to rename that to what it originally was. And I guess that's about it. In fact, I could just say start.ico. Actually, that's a one-step thing. Forget that. I don't need a batch file. At the end of the day, rename start.allen start.ico. Okay, now we don't want to do this all at once. These are dangerous things. So what we'll do is we'll make a temporary directory and test it. How about diag? Okay. Now what was it called? Okay, so well, we can just try running it here with this, and I'll put a pause here. So after the copying, it should pause. You get a bird's eye view from here. So let it go. So these are already unlinked, but you get the idea. Okay. Do the thing. Substitution in the values. Oh, the number. It says %1, %2, and so on. Okay, now they've all changed to Allen type. And now the next line is just going to just do a single rename, and now they're all back to ICO. So it works. So we've done it, we've tested it. Get rid of that useless directory. So many pictures. Look how long it takes to load up. Come on, I just want. I think I can delete it here. There. Oh, this is right. This is one of my protected directories. Yes. One folder. Okay, here goes. Unlinked. You saw they were all ones, right? Count links. Oh, okay. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Unlink. And it won't cost me any drive space. That's the main thing. If it is linked and I do that, then I double the amount of space I've used. 134033. So by the time this thing finishes, it'll probably be faster. If we weren't doing it like this. But this is interesting, don't you think? To see how well the Explorer can handle all this stuff going on. And the answer is not very well. It doesn't know what to do. But Allen is not a recognized extension, so it should go faster. The more Allens there are, the faster it'll go. So it doesn't need to parse those. Yeah, see it jump? Everything's going quickly now. Okay. And there's going to be a pause as well. Let's remove the pause. Still trying. There's a lot of files in here, 24,000 files. So, it's not something you want to do by hand, one at a time. And it has to be copied, it can't be renamed. Oh, but the icons are still there, right? Oh, no, I'm deleting them as I go along. What was my space? I really had some fun, I tell you, with that, that stupid editor thing. Hey, it's gone down a little bit. 15 megs. There's probably not much more in there. We shall see. I just don't understand how what the deal is with the way that people think about programming or the way they think other people think. Something. Because what I would think would be a really obvious thing to do when I'm looking at something, it's just not, it's not even part of the design. And it's like, maybe I'm missing something. But actually, what I should do with this video, because this has taken a lot longer than I expected, I could pause it, but just for curiosity, maybe somebody, one of the 2 or 3 people still watching, might be curious to find out what happened. Give it the foreground, might be a bit faster. 24,000 files. Every now and again I go through them and I see if I can find a couple of good ones. And the good ones I put in this directory, which has far fewer. And as I do that, I delete them. I'll find a whole bunch of repeats and I'll delete the repeats. I should make another batch file that checks for repeats and removes repeats. It's a good one. You can do with a batch file easy. Okay. Now let's pause. It would say press any key to continue if it was my pause. I think it's, just ran into a little collision with the Explorer there. Because there's a program called FC, command line program, file compare, and I think it sets this error level environment variable depending on whether or not the 2 files being compared are the same. So on the basis of that decision, you could delete one or the other if they're the same. And then just let it run like this in the background. And I could probably, this directory would reduce a lot. Because I'm not sure exactly why, but I guess a lot of it's Microsoft. It's all Microsoft, and they probably have a bunch of static libs that contain resources, and everybody links to the same lib just to have access to the icons, say. And so therefore, everything they release has more and more icons, more copies of the same icon. Come on. I wonder if we can tell what progress is by this. You'll see it's tons of Jesus. Okay, just show you some stuff while it's going on. Now, maybe it's not that one, is it? Yeah, this video didn't come, and I wanted to give a sense of that editor control thing at the beginning. All the MFC thing does is called like send message. C of the base function is the same. Here it is. I mean, what each responds to is a Windows message. So here's the control, and everything that you do is translated directly to Windows message, which you can then press F1 on to get help. And it should, although F1 is slow, so it's already running, so it shouldn't be that bad. And see, it works. It seems like these are the only ones that ever works on. Are these WM and EM and all that stuff. It works. Those work okay. I can get help on those. You know, it didn't say TS edit : EM something. All right. Okay, so now it looks like these are all fairly useful functions, and of course they are useful, but they're also a pain in the. Well, it's comical, it's sad, and at the same time it's comical, I think. The ones that I thought was quite funny is, yes, okay, this. Now this, you can't blame MFC really for this. If I can find it. Is it? Set text? Set controls. Tutorials, that's the wrong file. It's not the one in there. Oh, yeah, I did have that. Okay. Set limit text, right? And then there's another function called limit text. Well, I was curious about limit text because after I started fiddling around with that local alloc and local heap and all that stuff, that was when I started getting that problem that the editing stopped working. You know, I ran up against a limit, a buffer size limit, and then I increased the buffer size using one or the other of these functions. It's kind of funny. I mean, it's just my sense of humor, but here's the message corresponding to limit text, okay? Combo box. Edit. There's an EM version. This is just taking me to combo box. Made a mistake. Edit. Where's edit? Okay. Limit. Set text limit. And limit text. There are two. Where's the other one? Come on, you're in here somewhere. Get text limit. Set text limit. Limit tag. But the header has two. Oh, it's all mixed up. Where is this? TS Windows tutorials. Yeah, this is the tutorials one. I've taken that away. I want it to use. Oh, because I'm in the wrong direction. And anyway, the thing is that the two messages. EM set text limit. Limit text. Okay, here's one of them. And the other one is set limit text. That's it. Okay. It doesn't read properly. Both edit message. EM is edit. Okay, now if you read through this help, and you're welcome to do so, first off, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Second off, it tells you that doing this is completely useless because if you set text using the normal method of setting text, then it completely ignores this limit. So A, it's useless. B, this message is not similar to or nearly like identical to this. So here we got in that file that I've lost now, two functions copied directly from the base, set limit text and limit text, both of which do exactly the same thing, identical, no difference whatsoever. The return value is different, but as far as the way that they function, that's no different for no reason. Okay? So of course, I got rid of one or the other, and I did keep one because it is necessary to do it if you're going to set the text the way that I've been doing it with the handle thing, which I still don't know if that's the right way to do it or not. Now, then there's a bunch of things to do with these lines. Like line index. And I was getting very confused because what I wanted to do was basically I wanted to copy, I wanted to be able to for editing, I wanted to be able to extract, let's say, the 10th line, right? Or find out where the caret is, line number and column and so on. Now I know that's not impossible to do. Notepad doesn't. If you type stuff in, see, it knows column and line number, so obviously it's possible. But I bet if I left this to you as a puzzle, to take this set of, let me find the set of functions, control TS control, no, the above here, control. So this is from the older version, so no changes from the base. And I can probably just leave this as a puzzle. That thing's ruined my whole time. Find the editor. You don't even use a class. All you gotta do is combo is further down. Now here we go. Oh, that's the header file. I don't want that. I want this one. Okay, edit. Now you see all these messages? As a puzzle. See if you can figure out, given an edit control, suppose you had an edit control, which functions would you use to determine, as Notepad does, the row and column of cursor? You will note that there are no functions in here having to do with anything called a cursor, right? There's nothing that says cursor. Now there is something called pause. Oh yeah, further up. Pause, which has to do with x's and y's. But that here, like car from pause. Here they're talking about a point in the client area, right? And of course, by point, you have to be sure that they're not talking about logical units. They're talking about screen units or pixels. Sometimes it's dialogue units. Because it's usually these edit controls appear in dialogues. Okay. Get line count, get modify, get rect. Now, that's geometric. That might help. Let's see what that gives you. Retrieves the formatting rectangle. Okay. Limiting rectangle. So it's a text independent of the size of the edit control window. The limiting rectangle. Pointing to receives a formatting rectangle. There's no return value. No. Under certain conditions, might not return the exact values of these things, which we don't know anyway. It might be off by a couple pixels. Doesn't matter. It's a pixel here and there. Doesn't look very useful. Okay, now get cell. Now that's if it was CELL, then we'd be laughing, right? But cell here stands for selection, and these numbers are indices into a flat character array. Just a string, one string. That's what all it is. It's just a string. It's a handler for a single string, null terminated string. And the selection, even if it looks two-dimensional to you, is not. It's just, drawn that way. So that's of little use unless you know how long all the different lines are. Is this thing done yet? Still going. Alright, okay, so that's not good. Empty buffer, no good. Format lines. Add end of line. I never actually looked at this one. I don't know what that does. Determines whether includes soft break characters. See, now that's a complication that you're probably not used to dealing with. A soft break is what they use for wrapping, wrapping mode. When you turn on the wrap or no wrap, there are breaks, but they're not real breaks. A real break is a carriage return line feed, but a soft break is a double carriage return and a line feed. So 2 carriage returns, 2 ends, no, 2 R's and an M. R's return and R's return. So 2 R's and an N. Line feed, right, new line. Yeah. So RRM. So it's a 3-character sequence, and you can put that at the end of the line, and that will cause it to wrap, and somehow or other they get taken out in the end. So useless. Limit text we saw is useless. Line from car. Now that might be helpful in your quest. Now, what does that give you? Retrieves the index of the line that contains the specified character index in a multi-line control. The character index is zero-based. So again, thinking of an edit control as a single stream of characters. A character index is like if it's a 5,000 byte file, your character might be at position 3,278, right? So that's your index. Okay, so this retrieves the index of the line that contains the character index. So if I had a character at the line at index 3,278 or whatever, this will tell me which line, this kind of line, horizontal line, it's on. Okay, so that would be helpful. So at least if you could figure out, within the buffer where your character was, then you could get the y coordinate. Okay, getting somewhere. All right, now if there's a click, line index, what does that do? Retrieves the index of the line. Retrieves the character index of the first character of a specified line. Now you see how this is building up? We're almost getting to the point where we can determine the second coordinate of a character. Of course, none of this says anything about where the caret is. The caret, the little blinking thing. Well, that's a caret. This thing, this blinking thing. None of this says anything about that. However, if we knew, if we ask, now this is not going to give the same result every time, but if we ask the edit control, which character index is the character index which currently corresponds with line 20, if there happen to be 20 lines in its buffer, then it could tell us what that character index is. So that's a little some help. Okay. Well, now here's something. Line length. If we know the length of a line and the character index, right? And if this length is in characters, then we're really in business. Let's see now. It is in characters. And what will it tell us? It will tell us the length of a given line in the edit control. So now, if we wanted to find out the xy coordinates of the caret, which we still don't know where the caret is. If we knew its position along the flat 5,000 character array, then at this point we have everything required to determine x and y. Because we can determine which character offset corresponds to a given line number, right? And we know if we knew its character position, If we knew the caret was at position 4827, which we don't, but if we did know that, then we could go through all the lines and find out which, in fact, I think that last function said we could determine which line that one would have to be on. And we can also determine where the 0 would be in that array. So, there's nothing to these interfaces. I prefer get x, y, something like that. They don't have that. Line scroll, now all that does is scroll lines back and forth. So I don't think this is much use. Of course, you could scroll back and forth until things stop working. And maybe you can get a clue from that. Replace selection, that's not going to help. Password, who cares? Set rect. Now I can tell you right away that these rects are not character rects. They're going to be pixels or dialogue units. Formatting rectangle, same as before. And now what's this one? NP rect. But do you see what I'm saying? Formatting rectangle. This message is identical to that one, except doesn't redraw. They could have put a flag with the other message. But, trying to be creative here. Set cell. Again, unfortunately, it's an SEL. So, now this one. Here's another example where there's two functions that do exactly the same thing. This set cell, notice that the message is the same. The Windows message being used is the same, but there are two functions. And why is that? A, because they're retarded, or B, they're retarded. Or 3, all of the above. And that's about it for that. Okay, now set tab stops. I renamed a lot of these. Turns out that of all these set tab stops functions, really, this is the only one you need. Turns out. Well, no, you might need this one. This one, yeah, see, they're sending the same message, right, with different parameters. Oh, okay. No, you only need this one. Set this first parameter to 0, and that becomes this function. And change this int ref into a pointer, and set that to 1, and you get this function. So both of these functions are versions of this. Okay, and none of it yet so far told us anything about where that caret is. Cut, copy, clear, paste, etc., 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 etc. And what's above here? Pause from car is useless. Get line is a way of copying text from a given line once you've figured out where it is. And this is another version of this function, wherein the user doesn't need to specify this value here. What they can do is they can write that in as the first 2 bytes of this buffer, and that's the interface. Comic as it is, I managed to use that interface, and well, I redesigned a lot of it. And I might as well just run this because I just want to show you something that I managed to get working. This thing's probably still going. It'll go forever. But it's pretty fast now. I've got this thing working pretty fast. even under the debugger with a million other things going. So are these two the same? I guess they are. That's a bug. I can have that fixed. Yeah. Okay. Now I got two. No, just one. This is the one I wanted. I've got all those in there for. Okay. Something to do with my MRU. Search. See? Now, a message has appeared. It did beep. Oh, here it is. So now, when it hits the end of the file, do I want to start at the beginning? Sure. Find next, find next. Now suppose I want to go this way. Now it goes backwards. Now I hit the beginning of the file, so I can go down. No, it's supposed to be at the end, but I don't think it is. It's probably a bug. Now, how about I go down? Let's see how far down it can go. It doesn't go that far down. Okay, now how about add? So now here's a thing that has different matches that I can rule out. Like whole word will only be whole words and still be up and down words. And if I want to match case, then that. Which one did I started with that. Okay. It was on a different one. I think there's one. Let's make it capital. Well, it seems to be some confusion. If I restart that, maybe it'll be okay. Now I'm not so good with knowing when to reset certain things. Okay, change this. I don't think I'm gonna pick that up. No, I didn't. It didn't pick up that. But if I start out with that, in that case, that should work. Yeah, it does. And the whole word should be picked up. Turns it off, that should be picked up. So you can see that even with all the limitations given with that interface, you can still do these magical things. I don't have it anymore, but I was before printing out the row and column of the caret, and I can figure out where that is. In fact, if I wanted to, I could put that word. I could put the word that I have clicked on into the search thing, but I'm going to leave it as a puzzle for you to try and figure out using those Windows messages. Just look for EN underscore messages. See if you can figure out and find the magical solution which gives you the position X and Y, not relative to anything, but absolute position of the caret. Okay. Enjoy, and the answer is coming up next show. See you. Oops, this one.